It's chilly out there, so at this time of year, I love to wear powerhouse fragrances. Strong, muscular, robust scents that plow through that cold winter air. Here are some of the best. I just find that the cold weather can take the edge off a fragrance, so fragrances that aren't as strong sometimes can get a little bit lost. So at this time of year, I like to wear fragrances that are bigger, fuller, richer, stronger, powerhouse fragrances that will not get lost in this cold winter air. A note in fragrance that I find works really well at this time of year is leather. It always gives a scent a lot of firepower, and it certainly does with this one. From Orto Parisi, Cuoium. Probably said that wrong, but I don't even care. This one is great, especially if you like your leather fragrances to be wearing leather. If you're familiar with this brand, you will know they do not do things by halves. Their perfumery can be a little bit divisive. This one has animal notes, woody notes, violet, leather, incense, cade oil, cedar, labdanum, patchouli, and vanilla. I love that there's vanilla in this. It's almost like, oh yeah, we've got all these really strong, powerful, harsh notes. So let's just put a bit of vanilla in there as well, just to even things out. And it does actually take the edge off a lot of these really strong, robust notes. This is a very animalic sort of fragrance. Like, it kind of smells like an animal's butt crack. Now you might think that's a negative thing, but I kind of like it. Please let me stress, it's what I would imagine an animal's butt crack to smell like. I have never actually smelled an animal's butt crack. Now I'm thinking about it, do animals even have cracks? Anyway, that's for another video. So leather, animalic, incense, all big, full, strong, robust notes. And that's why it works so well at this time of year. You might think, well, I'm not really selling this fragrance to you in how I've described it so far, but it smells strangely sexy, seductive, carnal, a bit naughty. Anyway, super strong, like a snowplow going through snow. It's gonna create a clear pathway everywhere you go. If you like to stand out, if you like to be a bit different, if you like to be a little bit divisive, if you love leather and the smell of animals' butt cracks, then Orto Parisi's Cuoium could work for you. I thought let's move on to something a little less divisive and a little less animalic smelling. From Armani, this is Stronger With You Parfum. This is one of the thousands of Stronger With You fragrances that are on the market at the moment, and this does smell very much like all the rest of them. It's got this warm, chestnutty woodiness, and that is the perfect smell for when it's cold. Whether it's sandalwood, whether it's amber, whether it's tobacco, whether it's absolutely, intensely parfum, they've all got a similar kind of smell. I feel like they don't really deviate too much from this tried and tested Stronger With You DNA. And if the brand feel like it's working, then why would you stray too far? And after all, it's a designer fragrance. It's meant to have mass appeal. Unlike Orto Parisi, they're not out to make divisive, very niche fragrances. They're making fragrances that a lot of people will wear, so they can sell a lot and make a lot of money. So if I'm being honest, not that much different than things like Absolutely and Intensely, but it is a strong fragrance. This is a parfum version of those fragrances. I don't think it's particularly any stronger than the other Stronger With You fragrances, but they're all pretty strong and they all work really well in the cold. I just picked this one up because I saw the word stronger and parfum, and I thought that'd go really well in a video about powerhouse fragrances. There is a brand that I associate with very strong fragrances, big perfumery, and this is just one in their line that I think is a very big, strong smelling fragrance from Maison Crivelli. This is Cuir in Rouge. Such a big smell that I needed only a little bottle of this because one spray goes a long way. So we've talked about leather already being a good note for these fragrances that work really well in the cold, and there is quite a bit of leather in this, but it's a very smooth, rounded leather. There's a fruitiness to it. There's raspberry, which is taking the edge off the harshness of the leather, like in the Orto Parisi. That's quite a harsh, very strong animalic leather. This is a very smooth, easy to wear, easygoing leather, but strong nonetheless. Further adding to the firepower of this one is oud. So this combination of leather and oud is making this a very strong fragrance. It's really pushing off all those gorgeous fruity notes, a little bit of creamy vanilla. The oud is not animalic at all. There is nothing animalic about this fragrance, but it is strong. It is a powerhouse. And what I love about this scent is the memories that come with it, because this fragrance reminds me of the smell of when I walk into a fragrance fair like Essence or into the perfumery in Harrods. All these amazing high quality big smells come together in the air And the smell of this kind of reminds me of that. Anyway, super strong. I love this brand, their presentation. There are so many fragrances I really enjoy, and this is possibly my favorite from the brand, and it certainly works well in the cold weather. From Atelier des Ors, this one is Rouge Saray. If you like dates, that is both eating them and wearing them, then you will love Rouge Saray. As well as the dates, there's delicious plum, cinnamon, vanilla, Peru balsam, gaiac wood and sandalwood. I love dates in a fragrance because they always have this dark, fruity quality, almost like a sticky quality to the scent. So like sticky dates. Imagine picking up a sticky date and smelling your finger afterwards. This kind of reminds me of that sort of smell. But added to that, we've got plum. Plum is always a dark, robust, fruity note. So combine that with the dates, bit of creamy, sweet vanilla, warm spices. There's a booziness to this scent. I'm not sure whether that's coming from the plum or the dates, but if someone told me there was rum in this, I would absolutely believe them, because there is a gorgeous, boozy, fruity quality. I find this so wearable. It's that addictive sort of smell. It's strong, it punches through the cold winter air. If you love dates, if you love plums, if you love sweet, dark, fruity fragrances that are strong, then definitely check out Rouge Saray from Atelier des Ors if you haven't already. Extrait fragrances are great for the cold weather. Their oil concentration is higher, making them stronger, more powerful. That is certainly the case with B683 Extrait from Marc-Antoine Barrois. This is a lovely, deep, woody, creamy, fruity fragrance. There's green apple, oud, violet leaf, patchouli, pink pepper, sandalwood, and vanilla. When I went to the Marc-Antoine boutique in London, of all the fragrances I smelled, and there are some fantastic ones in the line, this one stood out to me as my favorite. I'm not quite sure why that was. Maybe because it's a great combination of being very wearable but also statement making at the same time, and really strong. The apple in this makes me think of maybe like a candy, like a chew, like a creamy apple chew, but then combine that with the strength of the oud, which is giving the fragrance a lot of firepower. Again, not an animalic oud. I just feel like it is giving the fragrance a lot of body, a lot of density, and a lot of strength. Strong, noticeable, very wearable, beautifully composed fragrance by Quentin Biche. You can't really go wrong with Quentin Biche, so definitely check out B683 Extrait if you're looking for something that gets noticed in the cold weather. Going back to leather now, which is at the heart of this fragrance, but again, this is a very wearable leather. This is a designer brand, so obviously it would be wearable. From Burberry, this is Hero Parfum Intense. Spicy, punchy black pepper is kicking this off the skin. Leather is at the heart, and a trio of cedarwood oils in the base. I would say this is a classic way that a designer brand, who obviously want to keep their fragrances relatively mass appealing, would utilize leather, because you can tell there's leather in here. It's a very smooth leather. It's not a harsh leather at all. I feel like the leather here is being used to add weight, to add the firepower to the fragrance. There's a really lovely pop to the projection of this, possibly coming from that black pepper, and then obviously a very woody base, but there's a sweetness to this that doesn't seem to be attributed to anything listed in the notes. There's going to be a lot more going on than the 3 notes that are listed. The sweetness brings a lot of likability to the fragrance, probably in a similar realm to a Stronger With You fragrance. It doesn't have that chestnut accord that Stronger With You has in its DNA, but I would say I'd probably wear this at similar times. It's sweet, it's deep, it's rich, it's woody, great in the cold weather. If you like strong, slightly sweet, mass appealing designer fragrances that have a lot of woody depth to them, then I think you'd really enjoy this. This one works really well in the winter. I'm finishing with a fragrance which is actually the newest fragrance in my whole collection. This one is just in. I've had it a couple of days, but this is very strong. I'd say this is the strongest fragrance in this whole video. When I tell you it's from Amouage, that will come as no surprise. This is brand new Sequence. Sequence is new in the Amouage Essences collection. It is composed by Julien Rascanet. There's raspberry, lychee, saffron, osmanthus, rose, leather, and oud. Yes, whenever you hear the notes rose and oud together, you think, yeah, I'm getting a rose oud fragrance. That's what you are getting with this. You're getting a classical rose oud DNA, which just works every time. But it's different because this is fruitier. The raspberry, the lychee, osmanthus, which is actually a floral, but gives off this apricot-like fruitiness. So there is a fruity element to the scent, which I think helps lift it. A lot of rose oud fragrances can be quite weighty, quite dense, quite quite heavy, but this isn't. There is definitely a heaviness to the fragrance, but it's contrasted with some lighter, airier notes as well. There's a warm spiciness to the scent, which is giving it some lift. So you've got the best of both worlds, really. You've got everything that is great about a heavier, strong perfume, but there's also elements in here which lift it and give it a brightness and an airiness. This is a pretty big smell. There's a lot of firepower here. Maybe not quite as big as Outlands, but to be honest, it's not far off. I wouldn't say this fragrance is entirely unique, because a lot of us out there will have smelled this rose oud combination in fragrances before, but this is Amouage's and Julien Raskinet's take on a rose oud fragrance, done with that Amouage flair, with that Amouage quality. This is a stunning fragrance. It's brand new this year in the Essences collection. It is super strong, and I tell you, it's working so well in these cold temperatures we're having at the moment. But you know what? I think I'll be wearing this all year round. Right, there you go. I made this video because I thought a few of you might be feeling pretty cold out there at the moment, and you might be looking for some fragrances that will beat that cold weather into submission. I think any of the ones I've mentioned in this video will do that. So if you're looking for something really strong, something that is highly likely to get you noticed, or maybe it's just for you, maybe you just want to be able to smell yourself for the whole day whilst you're wearing a fragrance in the cold weather, any of these, they're gonna do it for you. I'd like to know from you, what is your go-to powerhouse fragrance for the cold weather? Drop that down in the comments. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like, it really helps. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, bye.